they know there's a protest. The Occupy movement's in Phoenix, and that's big news. Given this day.
Where's she at? Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. What are you doing?
Oh, no, this is Kelly.
I'm Kelly.
So anyway, tell me what happened yesterday.
Yesterday,
Or wait, what do you experienced?
Yesterday, well, we were over at the other park, over on 3rd Avenue and just south of McDowell, and there were, probably at least 100 police officers in full riot gear with their tear gas trucks out, and they had us, there were probably 200 of us out, maybe 300, probably about 200. And they had us surrounded, and they said that they were going to arrest anyone that was in the park at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock came. They didn't do it. They wanted to play, basically pretty much play a game for about 2.5 hours. And they had the helicopters out that I heard cost $5,000 per half hour to fly.
I'm sure, yeah, helicopters are not cheap.
Yep. They had a flying over for hours. Actually, all night they had them flying over. I mean, last night must have cost the taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars.
So we got to keep doing
If not, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if we kept,
exactly.
Tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands.
Probably hundreds.
Well, you got to figure everyone of those guys making at least $100,000 a year.
Well, I mean,
You think?
No, they are. In cash and prizes, they're making $100,000. I've seen the numbers.
well, even still, if that's the case, if we did that for 3 nights in a row, imagine the kind of violence that they'd probably end up.
We'll see. You know, we got to force their hand. It's a matter of having them, force them to do something they don't want to do.
Force their hand.
Well, I mean, you know what? Last night, there was absolutely no violence.
Right.
None whatsoever. Well, yes, there was violence, but it was not on the part of us. It was on the part of, the criminals in blue.
Yeah.
I think though
It was.
This is probably going to end up going to violence eventually. I mean,
Well, I think we want to prevent it from getting that point.
not
don't you
on
think?
our side.
Not on our side.
Yeah.
Well, it already did. It already did. I mean, some criminals wearing blue costumes that had badges on, thinking that the badges grant them extra rights, kidnapped 40 people last night and threw them in a cage.
Right. That's criminal. That's criminal.
Is criminal.
Here's one of them right here.
That is what criminals do. Oh, you were in a cage last night?
Yep.
How did that go?
Not pleasant.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Very cold and smelly.
What time did you get out?
We got out about around 6 or so.
Oh, good for you.
Something like that.
Good for you. Thank you.
So you didn't sleep all over?
I slept like, hours.
It's really hard
I
to
didn't
sleep
sleep
in there.
either.
It's really hard to sleep in there. Lights are on.
There's concrete slabs with like metal bars every like 2 feet. So like if you have to like sit there, and if you try to sleep, you have to like get the bar like lined up like
It's literally a human cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't treat an animal the way they treat people.
Hell no. Would I put my dog there?
How are the toilet facilities?
Please.
There's just it's a big like concrete tank, with like with a urinal combination sink.
And no toilet paper.
Just right there.
No toilet paper.
Some of them have a roll of toilet paper.
How
some
many
of them don't.
toilets are there?
Just
One.
one
And
in
how
each.
many people are in there?
30,
There could be
40,
like,
50.
Yeah, there could be 40, 50 people in one of them. You're lucky if you get like a place to sit. If not, you got to just lay out on the filthy, disgusting floor.
Right.
Oh. Why? What's on the floor?
God only knows.
Sweat,
Yeah.
sweat and urine and spit and.
God only knows.
Yeah. Drool. You don't know.
That's disgusting.
You have no idea.
I mean, really.
So how did you avoid getting arrested, Kelly?
I just sort of stayed out of the way.
Okay. You didn't join the festivities?
No. Not for me. Not at this moment in Arizona.
I think we're friends on Facebook.
Right on. Pleasure to meet
Chris
you.
Bro.
Right. Oh,
Sometimes you
nice
see
to
me
meet
in-
you.
nice to
What's
meet you.
Sometimes
going
you
on?
see him and sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you see me commenting on the Revolution.
Boom.
Right on. Good for
Revolution
you.
group.
Good for you. Thank you for going through all that last night.
Right. So I wonder what's
Yeah.
going to happen now. I mean, we just, we need some music or something.
Yeah, but they're trying to keep the noise levels down because we don't want to provoke them too much.
What's that? Oh, provoke them too
Now
much.
it's be, yelling.
Right.
You could sing.
Say hallelujah.
We can sing.
Hallelujah.
Oh yeah, we could.
We
How
could
does that song
definitely
go by
sing
the Beatles?
no.
No,
I don't think that's a good song.
Which one?
no. Hallelujah.
My country.
What was that one? Did you see that one video from Keen with Derek with the Give Peace a Chance? You didn't see that one?
That's a good song. My country.
You know Derek?
Derek Sheriff?
Derek Freeman.
Crowd would like that.
No, I don't know him too well.
He's young, 20 maybe, 21.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone is a
He's
big
so-
fan of the Constitution.
He pulls out
Not
a
here.
bowl.
I'm not.
Pulls out a bowl in the middle of Central Square. Goes to light it up. The cops snatch it from him.
Right.
He starts walking around the square. Everybody starts following him. You didn't see that video?
No, I didn't.
Guarantees everybody.
There was a
You're going down the wrong road with Chris. Do you want to give her the short version?
Basically, this is how it goes. Come on, buddy. The Declaration of Independence was the founders throwing off despotic rule of the king, of King George. You know, but even they themselves were like wealthy mercantilist aristocrats, you know, and they only really wanted to throw off King George so that they could take control and take power. And but you know, whatever. I guess maybe I could understand someone being a little having, you know, some sentimental value for the Declaration of Independence.
No, but then the Constitution.
But the Constitution is kind of the polar opposite kind of a document than the Declaration of Independence. The Constitution is basically just a tax law. That's really all it is.
The Declaration of Independence declared the fact that we have these rights. The Constitution restricted them.
Yeah, they basically put us back into bondage. If you compare the Articles of Confederation to the Constitution, pretty much every change that was instituted from the Articles to the Constitution pretty much put us where we are today. So the Constitution pretty much goes like this. Like in the very beginning, it like lays out like the whole electoral system and how congressmen and senators are going to be elected and how old they have to be and how the whole process is going to work. And then Article 1, Section 8 pretty much states like the primary purpose of the Constitution. It says Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes. And then everything else following after that, yeah, I can show you right here.
Is that a pocket Constitution?
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
Let's see, it's in here?
Yeah, it's in there. It's got Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and then the
Bill of Rights.
FIJA.
Really?
Yeah.
You got another one?
Yeah, make me a donation.
The Constitution,
wonderful.
32. Watch this, I'll show you.
Yeah. How much you want?
32.
How much is the pocket Constitution?
I don't know.
Okay,
$2 maybe?
Good deal.
here's the preamble. You know, I'll just start off. I'll just show you, like right here, some problems. United States Constitution of the United States. We the people. First off, that's a lie. We the people. We the people did not enact or ratify the Constitution. It was a small group of wealthy.
Well, they were people.
They were people, but I mean, it's just the statement of we the people is just not the case. Like you can never make. Like, I don't even agree with the "we are the 99%" mantra, because it's like we're not the 9. I mean, it depends on what you mean by that. I think it carries like this overtone of like we can speak for the whole country or something, and that's not the case. So like we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare. That's very vague language, general welfare. You could kind of read whatever you want into that.
Thank you.
And secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Well, did we the people really ordain and establish this Constitution? No, it's not true. A group of
people did.
A group of wealthy aristocrats, mercantilists, slave owners. They are the ones that ordained and established the Constitution, and the reason they did it was basically in response to Shays' Rebellion, and a lot of the early Americans were not happy with.
And they didn't have any money.
They didn't have any money. They were being
no, I mean they didn't have any money to be able to fund the government, and the federal government wanted to be funded.
The federal government government wanted to be funded. Basically, under the Articles of Confederation, there was very little in the way of a federal level
what they could
government.
actually do.
There was no president really. You had like a head of the. We had a head of the House, like just like the VP today is like the head speaker of the House. That's all we had under the Articles of Confederation. There was no executive.
You mean the Senate? Vice President is over the Senate. FYI.
Vice President's over the Senate, so it wasn't really exactly like that, but he was over both houses, I believe. But he wasn't really a president.
What's that? Of course. Look at that flag.
Here, bring it over. Yeah.
Bring that over here.
What is that?
You see all the corporations on there?
Yeah.
Sad truth. Adbusters. Cool. They're some of the people that actually started the whole Occupy Wall Street. Adbusters magazine. If you guys haven't seen it.
Okay. So anyway, continue.
So where was I?
Oh yeah. So the reason why they formed the Constitution.
Yeah, basically people were rebelling against the taxation that was imposed on them to pay for the to pay for the Revolutionary War, and I think that the problem back then was the same problem as today. The country's in debt; it's in war debt, and is that debt really all of our debt? You know, I don't really think that the current national debt is our debt. So what if somebody tried to create a new constitution that gave the federal government more power to take our money to pay off that debt? Would you agree with that? Like, I wouldn't agree with that. And basically the Constitution was just that back then. It was basically just a tax law, and I'll show you.
But it was to pay for the war to get free from England, so that was a good thing.
But I think the Americans of the day weren't all totally 100% behind the Revolutionary War. Some were for it, some weren't, and a lot of the people I think.
Yeah, get it on that kid over there.
What are we doing?
I'm just going to show you, like.
Hang on one second. I want to see what's going on here.
That's in the Bill of Rights. Basically, you had mainly Madison and Hamilton. Madison and Hamilton wanted the Constitution because they were the Federalists, and then you had the Anti-Federalists, and the Federalists actually both of them were for a federation. It's not like one was for a federation and one was against the federation. The Federalists were for a federation, but they also wanted like a strong central government that had they wanted basically what we have now, the Constitution and a strong federal government. The Anti-Federalists were against the ratification of the Constitution, and they wanted to, basically keep things the way they were under the Articles of Confederation, maybe tweak it a little bit, but so they had the, Continental Congress or whatever, and instead of just tweaking the Articles of Confederation, they got rid of it. Completely threw it out and created the Constitution. And the Constitution just completely is a total bastardization of the Articles of Confederation. There was a lot of good verbiage in the Articles of Confederation that limited government a whole lot more than the Constitution does, and there was no executive branch really.
That's the problem. The problem is always the executive branch, because then you just have one guy. He's controlling all the power, and
in theory, he's not supposed to be able to, but it always turns into that.
But what happens is they all work together to give him more power, and he just continues to take more power.
I think like no constitution or no document can ever really keep.
You didn't sign it. I didn't sign it.
And it can never really keep the state in control. So I'd rather there be none at all. I'd rather, I'm for
anarchy.
I'm for anarchy.
Voluntarism. It's not
anarchism.
It's voluntarism is the technical term. Anarchist sounds too negative. That's my opinion. But to most people, to
most people it does, but
right. I'm saying, just so she understands, it's voluntarism. It's like we came here because we both volunteered to get in your car and come here. There was no coercion. I didn't point a gun at your head, and you didn't point a gun at my head. We just said, this is where we're going. We're going to go there together. That's a voluntary society.